Look at a map of the moon, and you can see every crater, ridge, and valley. But turn it around and look at our own planet's seafloor, and the map goes almost entirely blank. The deep ocean floor covers 2/3 of the Earth's surface. That is more than 335 million square kilometers of solid ground hidden beneath the waves. Yet out of that massive expanse, human technology, submersibles, remotely operated vehicles, and autonomous robots has managed to film and photograph less than 0.001% of it. To put that in perspective, this animated map shows the total area of the deep seafloor we have actually seen with our own eyes. It is roughly the size of Rhode Island. We call this an ocean planet, but our visual, mapped understanding of the world beneath the water is practically non-existent. The obvious explanation for this massive blind spot is the sheer scale of the ocean. It takes immense resources to navigate thousands of miles offshore. But a newly compiled Global Dive Dataset reveals a different story. Scientists recently gathered the records of around 44,000 separate deep-sea dives carried out over decades. When you look closely at where those thousands of robotic and crewed vehicles actually went, the data shows our lack of a map is not entirely a size problem. It is the result of a heavily biased approach to how we explore. The very first major bias in the data is geography. Deep-sea expeditions are simply not spread evenly across the globe. This map plots global deep-sea dives. 65% occurred near the coasts of the US, Japan, and New Zealand. Add France and Germany, and these 5 nations account for 97% of all deep-sea observations. The vast international waters in between remain completely unmapped. Our working map of the ocean does not reflect planetary geography. It is drawn directly along the borders of a few specific nations with the economic resources to launch scientific fleets. And even when researchers do launch these million-dollar expeditions, they tend to hunt for drama. Historically, marine explorers have focused huge amounts of research effort on deep, craggy canyons and steep, dramatic underwater cliffs. By prioritizing those complex seascapes, they routinely bypass the abyssal plains, the massive, flat, and muddy regions that make up the vast majority of the ocean floor. Imagine trying to understand the geography of North America by only taking photographs of the Grand Canyon while completely ignoring the Great Plains. By constantly chasing the most visually extreme anomalies, we have missed out on mapping the true baseline environment of our own planet. You might assume that as robotics and submersible tech have advanced, we would naturally push deeper into the ocean over time. Deep-sea dives from 1960 to 2010 show a downward trend. In the 1960s, half went deeper than 2 kilometers. By the 2010s, only a quarter did. Notice this middle zone between 2 and 6 kilometers deep. It holds 75% of the ocean's volume. Rather than plunging further down, modern explorers are actively staying shallower, leaving the largest vertical habitat on Earth completely unseen by contemporary science. We lack a complete ocean map largely because of human habit, rather than purely technological limits. We have allowed a tiny handful of wealthy nations to repeatedly scan the shallowest waters off their own coasts, focusing almost entirely on steep, craggy terrain. We have barely begun to explore the global ocean. We have mostly just surveyed our own coastal backyards. Fortunately, scientists are now using this exact dataset to correct our course. There is a growing effort to design deep-sea tools that are cheaper and easier to operate. The goal is getting this technology into the hands of countries lacking massive research budgets. Researchers are also directing these new robots away from coastal canyons, sending them straight down into the flat, dark mud of the abyssal plains. By finally addressing the blind spots in our data, we can start building a real map and truly see the remaining 2/3 of our world.